had my abortion also in Montreal. So
Okay.
that was again, I think, again, because in Sri Lanka it's still criminal.
Oh,
It's a
dear.
yeah. So so I with the health card itself, I was able to go and do it. It was like a normal procedure, right? So still I can't believe that like that because I always give that voice for the safe abortion, right? Because
Mm.
here abortions are happening, but it's illegal.
Yes.
So they
Yeah,
are doing, and without even anesthesia, and
I know.
when women go to hospital after complication, but they don't say they had an abortion. So, it's a very complicated situation, right?
Yeah.
But for me, that whole process of that abortion is like, for me, it's a miracle. I'm like, wow, can't even because I'm so free to talk about it, right? Because somebody one time said, why can't you help the woman in Sri Lanka who has gone through abortion? I said, how they can admit they had abortion because if the law says it's a crime, and
Right.
if somebody says I had abortion, they can be put in jail.
Put in jail.
So it's
Yeah.
a very hard work, right? One to one, we can do anything, but that
Yeah,
also, it's a very risky work, right? So for me,
absolutely.
doing that in Canada and getting the help, like getting the therapy and everything, even the in Toronto, the Catholic Church, they gave the provided the healing for the abortion
Wow.
woman, so that was something I couldn't
Yeah.
believe, right? Because the Catholic Church, who is so uh, against of it,
Yeah.
welcomes because they want to keep the woman having the baby, but then they also help the woman who has aborted the child.
Right.
So, like there are some women, all the women who, because it was a group therapy, so everybody gave their reason why they have to abort. And I couldn't believe, like church people, some of them are still church leaders. And
Wow.
the reasons they said, and some of them are very old. It happened so long time ago. They never had the opportunity to share.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
coming and share. So that sharing was so powerful. It was really a healing moment. So
Mm.
those are the things, we don't have that in, even in Sri Lanka, divorce happens, but that is less than 1%. And in the Catholic Church, remarriage, I don't think so. They will allow. But in Canada, remarriage is like all these issues, right? It's like no problem because they just give that the church itself give the divorce something or document, and you're free to marry anybody you want again. So all those the liberation is something I feel very proud, and for me, like talking about abortion is not a problem at all because I don't feel guilt at all because as a Canadian I had the freedom to do it, and I was
Mm.
so it's
And you
also
were even
I think
supported. You were even
mm,
helped with the difficulty of it, right? Because it's not an easy thing. It's not something people want to do. This is the
mm,
misunderstanding, I think, about abortion in general, is that people are doing it as if it's birth control. And that's not the point. The point is there's some real reason in the life of the woman that makes it undoable, that they
yeah,
don't want this child. So,
very true.
yeah.
Because even for me, when I didn't have the period that moment, I knew I was pregnant. Then when I called that number, she said, first do the pregnancy test and give me a call. So I was even scared, like, but then it was positive for sure.
Yeah.
And when I said, step by step, they guided me. And they said, don't be hurry. Take your, and they gave that opportunity to make the decision. It
Right.
was so even when I went like pre-abortion kind of a testing, so they did the ultrasound of the baby to
Okay.
again to show. So I completely shut myself because I was so scared. if I
Mm.
listen or hear, I may, if I get connected, I might not want it and I don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
So when she said, okay, you can listen to your baby now, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, and I kind of, really shut myself. But
Yeah.
actually, there was no force on that at all. Like, whatever decision I wanted to take, they were
Mhm.
ready to help me in whatever
Right.
way. So
Right.
that was the beautiful thing, and there's no condemnation, no question even
Right.
asked why you have to do it, and
Okay.
no question asked about the father of the child.
Yeah.
Nobody can ask, right?
It's
So
your
those are
body.
the things. It was honestly a free kind of a journey to make. Even I didn't. It was a surprise again for me to going through the whole process actually, and
Mm.
to say, oh my God, like a what a liberation, right? And love and care, and that
Mm.
support, and yeah, no shaming, no nothing, right? It's more of a respect and honor and value even after doing it,
Yeah.
so the whole thing was something, yeah, I think I have to learn that and apply to myself and free myself from the
Yeah.
shame and guilt, but I was not shamed from outside. So
Right.
it was really something great,
Mm.
amazing
Well, and I guess it makes you
thing.
aware also of the shame that you are putting on yourself or that comes from your culture that's, that
Yeah.
you've learned since you were a child, right? So, mm.
Because I think sexual attack is because even today in Facebook, the Tamil page, the way it is online violence is so crazy, and some of the words I don't think so. It will never be used in English. If somebody uses those things, Facebook itself will block them. But
Mm.
in Tamil, nobody does, so they are using it so freely, and
Mm.
the attack on a woman is sexual. So
Yeah.
even parents are attacked. Like, somebody was saying that my mother's womb is stolen, and I'm born on a stolen womb. So that much, both the parents, the sperm and the womb also was attacked because of, and I was like, what they have to do, right? So they wanted to diminish my birth. So all those, because first they were trying to, I was sleeping for money and all kind of things they were trying to put me. Nothing
Mm.
didn't change me. So then they came with the bad things about my parents. So, at the beginning, I felt little because I felt sorry for them, because why they have to go through, because what
Yeah.
did they do wrong, right? So, but then I said, I can't do anything. Like if I shut down, it's a, so I said, okay, you speak whatever you want. I don't have a problem. I'll continue. But it's a very sad how they, and also in Tamil, some of the words, there is no word for a male. It's like,
No, of
the
course.
woman who sleep.
Yeah.
It's only for women, right? So
Yeah.
there's no masculinity for those words. So that
Mm.
also, so when they attack and use those words, I'm like, even I don't know how to call them back because there's
Right.
no word to call them.
Yeah.
So that also was a very surprise. So I think even like I started my online dating in Montreal. So in Russia, I had a boyfriend. But that online dating thing, because when I started my online dating, I was still married to my ex-husband. I didn't get my divorce. So it was like, I felt like I was doing so bad. And even
But you still did it. That's what's amazing to me is you always just you do the hard thing. Yeah.
so it was again a new experience for me
Mm.
to go on a date, and because for us it's all about marriage, right? You
Mm.
meet a man, you get married. So
Right.
luckily I didn't have a divorce certificate, right? So I can't ask a man to marry me. So
Even if you
I
want to, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a really, so only thing I was able to go for a living together, but I was not ready at all because it was so scary, right? So I just go on a date and come or I meet them again and all this going on, but nothing like um a committed relationship, or even though some relationships were very very good actually, but still nothing was so firm because of I didn't get the divorce. So that is again a very new experience, like because some people said we did these things when we were in the like a high school, or something like that, 17 18 we used to do this and I was trying to do that in my 31 32, right? So it
If we
was a
haven't done it
new
before, we have to do it at some point. So whenever it is, it is.
true. So
Mm.
it was a real adventure actually to go into that path, because I
Hmm.
started to drink in Montreal. So that was on the 31st, to the on the Valentine's Day. Because in Montreal, when I was in Russia, because as a Christian also we never drank because in our family and also culture also there is no drinking for women. So I always kept that as the reason, but it didn't come from me. It was more of the fear of the culture and the family tradition and all these things. But then I just felt like, because after divorce I felt like there is nothing to lose anymore. The main thing is lost. So
Okay.
anything I do, it's not going to be a problem at all because I have already broken, because nobody in our generation didn't have a divorce. I was the first one to go for divorce, right? So I
Right.
said, okay, now I can go for anything and everything. So the drinking started actually there.
Okay.
And honestly, again, at that moment, I will say it was needed.
Hmm.
So all these, there is a positive and negative, because
True.
even like sex and being with a man, because sometimes that is the only time I had that love or some kind of a connection or some kind of a
Hmm.
healing. It was more, at least I was able to be with somebody and just you know share, pour my heart, or like feel safe or be with so drinking also, honestly, it was kind of a escape from all the pain and problem.
True.
So again, I can't say, it was at that time, I will say it was needed for my life because it's coming. Because I was working overnight because I couldn't sleep at night, right? Because it was too much, whatever. So overnight work was really helpful because then I can come home and sleep. But then the nights I don't have work, what to do, right? Have to spend in the
Mm.
nightclub or somewhere to survive, because otherwise I can't survive at home without, So, in a way, I can't, I will never regret or I will never feel bad because at that moment, that
Mm.
was a,
It was
safe
helpful.
thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how long did that last, that part?
2013, I got the divorce and then I went for a serious relationship, but then that didn't work. So when I had the abortion, then soon after that I left the Montreal. So the abortion was the breaking point. Everything came to an end with the abortion again. So
Right.
I think with the divorce, everything went up, and
Yeah.
abortion, it all just,
Hmm.
because then I left the country also. And then when I came back to Toronto, I was in the shelter. So we were not allowed to drink. And if we drink, we have to stay outside. We can't come home drunk. So
Right.
I never had the opportunity. One friend, she said, okay, whenever you feel like drinking, go and drink and come and stay at my place. That's what she said. But then I was scared because if that becomes a habit, but then I don't want to lose the shelter opportunity
No.
because that is the safe heaven for me. So
Yeah.
shelter, I think, kept me in Toronto in a safeguard that I couldn't do those things. So I never had the, But in Sri Lanka, those days I did when I came because I wanted to do again breaking the things, right? Because I never did those things in Sri Lanka. I never,
Right.
so like there were some other girls also came to the bar, but
Hmm.
there were times I was the only girl in the bar. So it was a very new experience, but the group of men, they go on Thursdays to bar and I joined them. So
Yeah.
it was a very, so all those at that time I did it in Sri Lanka. Even I still remember holding a guy and walking on the street. That happened when I was 33. And I'm like, that was a new experience for me in Sri Lanka. I'm like, I can hold a man in Sri Lanka. So I did, yeah. But then I'm like, now it's like a free choice. I'm not like, I can do whatever I want or I don't want, it's like, so I have come to that point and I'm not like judgment of anything and I'm
Mhm.
safe to decide what I want for myself. And also I'm now in a point, I will not do anything to please somebody else because
Yeah.
before that is why certain things I didn't like it, but I thought doing that will make that friendship or keep that person with me. But
Hmm.
now I don't have those things, like if you want to be my friend, be my friend. If you don't want, you go, kind of thing. And I have come to that level,
Yeah.
so it's a very healthy boundary now.
Very, yes. Yes.